517 local time. The radar screen isn't just flickering, it's screaming. 3 high-speed contacts appear out of nowhere, hugging the waves at Mach speeds. Inside the Combat Information Center of the lead Aegis destroyer, the silence breaks with a single chilling report. New contacts bearing 027, altitude low, speed lethal. These aren't ghosts or civilian planes. They are anti-ship missiles designed for one purpose: to sink a billion-dollar American symbol. The US Navy just found itself in the crosshairs of a coordinated strike that shouldn't have been possible. To the port side, the cruiser fires next. Its deck flashes in staggered bursts, throwing more interceptors into the air to meet the sea-skimming threats. These missiles are guided by radar systems built specifically for this kind of nightmare scenario. Meanwhile, the carrier begins a broad turn, optimizing the wind and complicating the enemy's targeting picture. It isn't running away, it is shaping the fight to its advantage. Inside the island, air operations are already moving to the next problem. If there is a second wave, they need planes in the air now. The logic of the deck is brutal and simple. If the strike group survives this first salvo, they will need eyes beyond the horizon immediately. 2 Super Hornets are pulled forward, their pilots strapping in while the battle unfolds just miles away. Back in the command center, the first intercept occurs. One of the hostile tracks vanishes in a violent bloom on the display. The radar return fragments and disappears. Splash 1, no one celebrates. There are still 4 more killers in the air, and they are closing the distance with every heartbeat. The cruiser's target disappears next, a clean kill. Splash 2, a third interceptor closes on the starboard side, but something goes wrong. The symbols merge and the operators wait for the track to die, but it doesn't. The hostile return wobbles, loses a bit of speed, and then steadies itself. It's still coming. Track survived. That one sentence changes the entire mood of the room. One missile has absorbed enough damage to alter its course, but not enough to stop its deadly mission toward the inner screen of the fleet. The captain turns toward the tactical display. The formation adapts instantly. The starboard destroyer reassigns the surviving missile, and the lead ship takes terminal responsibility. Another track, one of the centerline threats, dips even lower. It's hugging the waves so tightly that its return flickers in and out of the sea clutter. The air defense commander narrows his eyes. That one wants the carrier, and he doesn't need proof. The vector tells the whole story. This is a saturation attempt designed to leak at least one weapon through the shield. A US carrier strike group is built in layers for a reason. The second wave of interceptors is authorized without a moment's delay. Another destroyer fires. The launch is tighter and faster than before. Interceptors tear into the sky and vanish beyond the horizon. On the carrier's flight deck, steam vents from the catapults as the yellow shirts move with frantic speed. The first 2 Hornets are manned and ready. They won't launch until the immediate danger is gone, but every second they save now could determine who wins the next hour of the war. The next intercept lands hard. One of the centerline hostile tracks breaks into debris well outside the carrier's bow. Splash 3, then another follows it into the depths. Splash 4. For the first time, the geometry of the attack begins to loosen, but it isn't enough. One track is still there. It's low, fast, and possibly damaged, but it remains disciplined. It slips through the thinning outer layer and drives straight toward the inner defense ring. It's no longer the cruiser's problem. It belongs to the entire formation now. The last surviving missile comes in beneath the weather line. It's 5:19 a.m. In the command center, a flickering track is worse than a clear one. A flickering track is a countdown to a hit. The air defense commander doesn't look away. Inner layer, take it now. On the bridge, the captain grips the chart table. The carrier is still behind them, massive and deliberate, turning to complicate the missile's final solution. This is no longer long-range defense, this is bodyguard work. The escorts are stepping into the line of fire. The damaged missile does something intelligent. It shifts right, then corrects left, searching for the largest target in the water. Its guidance package is still alive. The starboard destroyer swings to open a cleaner intercept lane. There is no hesitation. If a missile has to be fought at close range, the escorts take the risk to protect the carrier. Inside the command center, the final engagement chain is running. One more interceptor leaves the launcher with a violent shudder. Time to intercept is now 8 seconds. The numbers burn down. The symbols merge. For one beat, nobody breathes. The hostile track breaks apart, but the kill isn't clean. A debris field is still moving forward at lethal speed. A crippled missile can still ruin a ship if the wreckage stays on vector. Lookouts on the destroyer's side finally see it, a jagged streak of flame skipping across the water. Then the close-in weapon system opens up. The sound is a mechanical, brutal ripping of the air as a wall of tungsten rounds cuts across the horizon. It's the last line of defense. A wall of water punches upward off the lead destroyer's starboard side. The shock reaches the ship as a deep, metallic thud. It wasn't a direct hit, but a near miss close enough to hammer the hull and throw salt spray across the decks. The windows on the bridge shiver. In the command center, sailors glance up at the steel ceiling, feeling the power of the explosion. No penetration, but the message was sent. The strike group is still alive, still moving, and most importantly, the carrier remains untouched. The defense held. Survival buys time, and time buys the ability to strike back. On the carrier, the first pair of Super Hornets finally launches. Catapults fire in sequence, throwing the jets into the morning sky. Their mission is immediate: expand the picture and find out where that salvo came from. An E-2 Hawkeye follows them up, giving the fleet eyes above the curvature of the Earth. Electronic warfare teams are already replaying the attack, analyzing seeker behavior and track geometry. They aren't just looking at the past, they are hunting the future. The system overlays the tracks in pale lines across the digital chart. Where those lines converge, a narrow sector lights up along the Iranian coastline. It isn't a guess, it's a firing lane. Launch corridor refined. The initiative has officially turned. The strike group is no longer bracing for impact, it is reaching back. The captain's orders are clipped and precise. Suppress second shot capability. They don't want revenge, they want to make sure another salvo never leaves the rail. The hunters have become the hunted. From the air, the battle space opens. What were once fragments on a radar screen now assemble into a broader picture of mobile launchers and coastal batteries. Every defensive move the other side makes now risks exposing another piece of their network. One hostile emitter dies, then another blinks and vanishes. The strike group is stripping away the enemy's concealment, node by node. Hostile fire control emissions are collapsing. The massive carrier remains steady in the center, a symbol of power that the incoming missiles failed to break. By 5:28 a.m., the sea is quiet, but it's the quiet of a graveyard. The attack meant to cripple the US Navy failed on every level. It didn't break the formation, it didn't slow the carrier, and it didn't force a retreat. Instead, it exposed every secret the attacker had. As sailors inspect the scorched paint and twisted metal on the deck, the message is clear: you try to stop us, but we are still here. The carrier maintains its course, leaving the failed ambush in its wake, proving that the shield is as lethal as the sword. The entire tactical network stitches the threat together. Every ship in the group now sees the same unforgiving truth. This is a coordinated anti-ship saturation attack. The carrier doesn't panic, but it begins to move with a terrifying sense of purpose. Rudder inputs shift the massive hull, tightening the defensive geometry. Sectors are assigned in heartbeats. The outer screen is waking up, and the weapons officers are already counting down. They have less than 60 seconds before the missiles hit the outer engagement window. Seconds at sea are different. They feel like hours when death is screaming towards you at twice the speed of sound. Electronic warfare teams are frantically searching for seeker behavior, trying to jam the missiles' brains before they can lock on. The ship's combat system is calculating intercept windows faster than any human could speak. Consoles are clearing air lanes to ensure no friendly aircraft are caught in the crossfire. Above them, the steel deck shudders as the engines roar to life, pushing the destroyer to its absolute limit to protect the queen of the fleet. The first destroyer in the screen finally broadcasts the call the entire formation has been dreading: multiple inbound vampires. In Navy slang, a vampire is a lethal anti-ship missile, and hearing the word multiple sends a chill through even the most seasoned veterans. There is no room for drama, only efficiency. One of the tracks shifts slightly, correcting its line of flight. It isn't wandering, it's a smart weapon refining its path, prioritizing the carrier above all else. The battle now hangs in the narrow band between detection and total destruction. The captain's next order is quiet, almost a whisper, but it carries the weight of a death sentence for the incoming threats. Engage on doctrine. Below the deck, hands move across consoles with mechanical precision. Permissions are confirmed and intercept sequences unlock. Across the entire strike group, missile cells are seconds away from erupting. Iran has fired the first shot, hoping to catch the Americans off guard, but the US Navy is about to deliver an answer that will echo across the entire region. The counterpunch is coming. 5:18 local time. The first firing chains go live. In the lead destroyer's command center, the air defense commander watches the 5 tracks compress against the formation like closing jaws. The outer layer has priority. No one needs to be told twice. The escorts split the sky without wasting a single second of their precious time. The cruiser on the port side targets the 2 farthest tracks, while the starboard destroyer takes the one crossing the edge. The lead ship keeps the centerline threats. This is a single fighting organism in action. Above the armored steel, the vertical launch cells explode into life. Missile canisters blast open, and the first interceptors punch into the dawn sky. They rise hard before knifing outward toward the incoming threat tracks. The whole ship feels the violence of the launch. It's not chaos. It's precision engineering met with raw military power. On the bridge, the captain doesn't flinch. He watches the symbols on the repeater screen arc away from the formation. The clock is ticking. Time to intercept is now just 23 seconds.